if you asked Hollywood writers to script a jersey retirement night, I honestly don't think they could have topped what happened in Chicago.
Not even close.
It's January 25th, 2026, and I'm still recovering. My voice is basically gone. My eyes are still a little puffy, and my heart rate, I think, is just now getting back to normal.
It was the definition of a perfect storm, wasn't it? I mean, you go into these nights expecting the ceremony to be the highlight, and the game is just, kind of secondary.
Right. You hope they don't lose by 30 and ruin the vibe.
Exactly. But here you have the sheer emotion of Derrick Rose's #1 going up to the rafters, all that nostalgia, and then you cap it off with a game against the Boston Celtics that ends in the most insane way possible.
It was just sensory overload. And look, I know so many of you listening are in the same boat as me. I grew up idolizing D. Rose.
Yeah.
The 90s Bulls, that was my parents' team. My team was the MVP era, the too big, too strong, too fast, too good era. So for me and for the 20,000 people packed in the United Center, this was, it felt like closure. And then to have this current team, a team that has given us so many headaches, to have them come out and stun Boston, it was almost too much.
Well, it validates the whole night because the basketball analysis here shows a gritty, really improbable win against an elite team. So today, our mission is to unpack all of it.
We have to. We got to talk about the speech, the difference between Pooh from Inglewood and Derrick Rose, the icon.
And then we have to break down how the current roster actually pulled off their 4th straight win to honor him.
Let's do it. Part 1. I guess the theme is, this is our trophy.
That was the vibe.
It really was. People were lined up on Madison Street for hours. It felt like a playoff game, which is a feeling that's been missing for a long, long time.
And seeing that band of brothers back together was it was powerful.
Oh, man. Joakim Noah holding his baby, still with that same frantic energy. Deng, Taj Gibson.
That group, they didn't win a ring, but they won the city. And seeing them all there, it hammered that point home.
We have to talk about Taj Gibson's scarf game, by the way.
Oh, we do.
He looked like he was ready to sub into the game at a moment's notice. He had this giant New York scarf on, but the look in his eyes, I swear he was ready to go set a hard screen.
He probably was. And having Tom Thibodeau there to speak that was a huge part of it.
Thibs' speech gave us that little peek behind the curtain we never got, right?
Exactly. We always saw the yelling, the intensity. But for him to tell that story about Rose being late for a flight.
The Marcus Aurelius story? I couldn't believe he told that.
It's just perfect. The team is on the plane. Thibs is absolutely fuming because, you are never late in his world. And Derrick finally shows up, calm as ever, and says he was late because he was reading Marcus Aurelius.
You can just picture Thibs' head about to explode. Derrick's talking about stoicism, and Thibs is thinking about sprints.
Right. And then, of course, Rose goes out and dominates the next game. Probably saves Thibs' job. That's their entire relationship in one story.
The calm and the storm. But the moment that really shifted the whole night was when Derrick finally took the mic.
Yeah, this was a very different Derrick Rose.
That's what I mean. This wasn't the media-trained, guarded guy. This was Pooh talking to his city. And the story about his mother, you heard a collective gasp in the arena.
It was incredibly raw to share that his mom, Brenda, had considered an abortion when she was pregnant with him.
At 34, in deep poverty.
And just feeling like she couldn't provide for another child. For him to share that vulnerability, it recontextualizes everything. He wasn't just fighting injuries, he was fighting the odds from the very beginning.
It makes the MVP trophy seem almost small in comparison,
It does. And then he used that analogy about Chicago that I'm still thinking about.
The bullfight, the pricking analogy.
Yeah, he said that in a bullfight, they prick the bull to test its courage, to see what it's made of. And he said that's what Chicago does to you.
Chicago brings it to your front door. That was the line.
That's the one. It tests your integrity. It tests your bravery. And you could see his teammates just nodding along. They all felt it.
And that's where Deng's quote comes in. He looked at the banner and said, "This is our trophy."
That's such a powerful way to frame it. Because we're all so obsessed with rings.
Ring or bust, yeah.
But he was saying that their brotherhood, that struggle, that banner, that is their trophy. It validates the whole journey.
And speaking of validation, we even got an appearance from the ghost himself, Michael Jordan, on the video screen.
I was shocked. We know MJ's relationship with the organization is complicated.
Very complicated. You almost never see him. And to see him and Scottie Pippen on screen together, even virtually.
It was huge. But the key line from MJ was when he said he's looking forward to coming back to see Rose's banner hanging next to his.
That's massive. It's MJ officially putting Rose in that same tier of Chicago royalty. It bridges the gap between those two eras for us younger fans.
It does. So you have this incredibly emotional ceremony. The energy is at an all-time high. And then, the lights come up and there's a basketball game to play.
The transition. My biggest fear of the night. I was terrified we were about to get blown out by 30 and just kill the entire mood. Because let's be real, the Celtics are still the Celtics.
It was a very legitimate fear. But this is where you have to look at the context of the schedule. Boston was exhausted.
Oh, it looks slow.
Third game in 4 nights, and they were coming off a double overtime win against Brooklyn just the night before. Their legs were just not there.
Okay, they were tired, yes. But the Bulls played like their hair was on fire.
They did. They completely flipped the script on Boston. The Celtics usually dominate from the three-point line.
That's their whole identity.
But the Bulls shot, 47% from deep? 21 made threes. You just don't beat Boston unless you can match them from out there, and the Bulls actually outshot them.
And it was everyone. But okay, we have to get to the ending, the aha moment.
Of course.
Because Boston, being who they are, clawed their way back.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown hits that ridiculous shot to tie it, and you're just thinking, oh no, overtime, we're doomed.
Right. Clock is winding down, seconds left, and the execution on that final play was surprisingly perfect.
And it starts with Josh Giddey, who was coming off the bench and having a kind of shaky game.
Yeah, a minute's restriction, a few turnovers. But in that moment, he makes the perfect read.
He sets the screen, draws the defense, kicks it out to Kevin Huerter.
Red Velvet.
Red Velvet, who's been so streaky this season. He catches, he fires.
And drills the game-winning three with 0.2 seconds left on the clock.
The building just exploded. It was louder than it was for the ceremony. But the best part for me was Huerter's celebration, or his lack of one.
He tried to do the D-Rose deadpan.
He tried so hard. He hit the shot and tried to do the stoic, no-emotion stone face that Rose made famous.
It didn't quite work for him, though.
Not at all. Because back then, Joakim Noah would have been there to lift him in the air and scream. Huerter was just sort of standing there awkwardly while everyone mobbed him. It was hilarious.
It was a collective effort, though. That's the main takeaway. 8 players in double figures, that's a real team win.
We have to give out some gold stars. Who stood out to you besides Huerter?
For me, it was Patrick Williams.
The paw.
We've been hard on him. The fan base has. But he was fantastic off the bench. 10 points, a huge dunk, hit his threes. He's quietly shooting 46% from 3 this season, which is elite.
You just look confident.
Yeah.
That's all we want. And my guy's Jalen Smith.
Oh, Jalen Smith was a goon tonight in the best possible way.
He did miss that one dunk, which was...
a little embarrassing.
It was rough. But then he goes right down the other end and gets back-to-back stops on Jaylen Brown.
And we have to give Brown credit. That layup he hit off the top of the backboard was an all-time highlight.
Oh, my God, an incredible shot.
So for Smith to recover from the bad miss and then lock down a guy playing at that level, that's huge for him.
It is. So we get the win. The confetti falls, metaphorically. And now, what does it all mean? Because all of a sudden, the Chicago Bulls are above .50.
For the first time in months.
It feels like the first time since that 2021-22 season that there's some real momentum. 4 wins in a row. The whole team was the goon of the night.
But there's a conflict there, right? Between the joy on the court and the, let's say, frustration with the front office.
Yeah, that's the other side of this. While we're all emotional about Derrick Rose, there's still this feeling that management, that AK, was just sort of absent from the meaning of it all.
It did feel like they were a bit disconnected from the culture that Rose helped to build. And it brings up that question fans keep asking. Are you trying to build toward the next Rose? Or are you just happy being a play-in team?
Exactly. We want to see that same passion from the front office that we saw from the fans. We want those winning times back for good. But let's shift back to Rose himself. His press conference, I thought, gave us a really clear picture of his next chapter.
He was very clear. He doesn't want to be that typical team ambassador who just shakes hands. He's reading a lot. He called it his Andy Warhol phase.
His Andy Warhol phase. I love that. What does that even mean?
It means reinvention. He's into chess. He owns a flower shop. He's curating his own path. He sees himself as a businessman now, and he wants to prove he's more than just a hooper.
And that's inspiring. He's taking that same drive that made him the youngest MVP ever and just applying it to life.
Precisely. And that really brings us back to the core of this whole thing. It's a story about resilience.
Yeah.
A guy who had it all, lost a lot of it, reinvented himself, and then came home to find peace. And it's about a current team, maybe, just maybe, finding its own identity by channeling that energy.
It felt like closure for the past and a little spark for the present. Seeing that #1 banner up there just felt right.
And I want to leave you with that word Rose used, synergy. He was right. It was the fans, the city, his old teammates, the current team, everyone connected. And when you have that, you create something that lasts longer than any championship ring.
And we are saying thank you to him and to you for listening. This is a really special one for us. We appreciate you riding the emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening. Please comment, like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify, please leave 5-star review. It will help the channel grow. Until next time, please check our previous episodes.